All right, so David, quick question, man. What are you thinking
Yeah,
of
what do you got? What do you got?
Deathloop now that you've finished it? I assume. You
Deathloop.
know, yeah,
Okay, yeah. I
yeah.
haven't finished it yet. I've been busy playing
Mm.
Kana.
Kana?
It took me a while.
Is
I
it
finally
not? Is it
no.
not Kenna?
I finally heard it.
Is
I
it?
finally heard it for sure. It is Kana, which is funny because there's not a
Oh,
Y or an I or an
No.
A in there at all. So, but
well, does
yeah.
the E have an accent on it?
No, there's not even an E in the spelling of the title. It's just K. Well, there. Okay.
Is it
Duh.
K?
There's a
right?
K E. There's not an A, so that would make sense if it was KEANA. Then it could be Kana
It's
or
KENA, right?
It's just
Got my name in it.
KE.
Just say my name and then
It's
A.
KE Ken A. Yeah, Ken A.
Ken A.
Ken A.
Can I? All right.
So it would make sense if it was.
So the
So,
E is like my E.
This is my opinion. If it was Kina, then you would say KEENA, and then that would make sense. It would be
Right.
Kina.
Obviously,
If
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
if it was Kenna, you would do KENNA, and that would make sense. Am I right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why they found this middle ground of saying it's like in the middle of both of those, but it's a completely different pronunciation anyway. But hey, man, they're the developers. They had an idea in their mind, and fuck pronunciation of a name.
So
You know what I'm saying?
hold on. Let me defend them.
Yeah.
My name, ANRE, Henri. So the E, Ray, A, like
Yeah, who came up with that shit, man? Who developed your name? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, see, the French. Is Ember Labs French? Because
Lame.
fuck, you know, like.
I think they might be.
Yeah.
I think they are, dude. So that makes sense. All right, all right. So that.
And
All right,
hold on.
All right,
Second
all right.
piece of evidence. What do you call a pocket monster?
Pokemon.
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 I don't know. That's what they call it. I call it Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Some people call it Pokemon.
That's what your
And
mom
some
calls
people
it.
call it
Something else.
Pokemon. You know.
Turn off the
It's a Twitch streamer
Pokemon.
right there. Okay. So okay. You got a valid point. All right. Your name's on Ray, and there's
Yeah.
no fucking
Or-
Ray at the end of your name.
Henri. Yeah.
Or
I have two
Henri.
pronunciations. Yeah, it depends on where I am.
Dude, if
on
you'd
the
have told,
planet.
I wish you'd have told me that like 2 years ago, because you'd have
years
been
ago?
fucking reading me all day.
Reed?
You'd have been on Reed to me.
Reed?
No, fuck no. That's,
Henri?
I like on Ray.
Henri?
Ray. Ray. All right.
I
okay,
tell you what,
okay.
man, as long as you don't put a D in it, you call me Henri, Henri. All of those
Henri?
are acceptable.
Okay, but
I
not
have-
Andre.
No, I don't know who that
Because
is.
there's 3,000 of
No
those,
D.
man.
Yeah,
There's,
it's too many
There's
of
3,000 of those, and there's only one
and
of
I
you.
only like,
that makes
and I only like.
yeah,
Exactly.
Makes all the sense in the world to me. Okay,
There's
so
a thousand of you. There's only one of me.
Okay. So on Ray
back-
makes sense.
yeah.
Kana, right?
Kana.
It just blew
Kana.
my mind in the game. It was like it was like
Kano's daughter?
a third of the way into the game. She goes,
Yeah.
I'm Kana. And you're like, too late, lady.
What?
Like, we've already been saying it. We've already been saying it 200 different
controller.
ways. Yeah, anyway, so Kana, I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Okay.
Biggest twist in gaming.
I wish I would have made this video, like, 10 hours later. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Yeah.
Because then I would have got it right, you know?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so I've been playing Kana, Bridge of Spirits. Yeah, the French made it. They made the name. The name was designed
This is a
by
brand
them.
new IP, right? This is like
Yes,
nothing
Ember
else
Labs.
out
Yeah,
there.
it's their debut, their new game, and it
debut
is
album.
fantastic. It is really a beautiful game. I've been enjoying every moment of my playthrough with it, and I've been playing on the hardest setting, and I've been on Reddit, and I've been scoping it out, and a lot of people feel like this game is really difficult. So I was like, should I play it on the highest setting? Now, the highest setting right now is Expert Spirit Guide, but once you beat it on that mode, then you get the hardest setting, Master Spirit Guide. So I was like, should I play it? And you know me, I like to play games on the hardest setting.
For reference, David has platinumed Bloodborne.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So
That's
Kana,
a game to play.
Kana might not have been too daunting.
No. So
at the difficulty select screen. That's all I'm saying.
So a lot of people are saying this is really difficult, and a lot of people are asking, "Hey, man, should I play it on this difficulty? Whatever. I'm not that good at games." And the people are saying it's like the Dark Souls of Disney and whatever else, and it kind of is. I'm not gonna lie. It's got the DNA of Souls games in it, but it's not a Souls game. And I've been hearing this term thrown around a lot, and I put it in my video as well. It was like PS2 style game. That's what it reminds me of. And it is. It really is. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny to actually define a genre of a game from a platform standpoint and say, this game is this platform, because who does that?
But right? Everybody knows what that means.
Right.
Because we all played the PS2.
Exactly. And it feels like that, but it also feels like it's evolved. So if you loved PS2 games, and let's face it, who doesn't?
Like platformers, are we talking like Spyro?
Yeah, so this game, dude, yeah. So this game will remind you of Spyro, actually.
Okay.
It'll remind you of Dark Souls. It'll remind you of
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I mean, Jack. Let's say Jack games.
Jack and Daxter.
Let's say
Ratchet and Clank.
Any action adventure game that you've played on any third-person action adventure game you've played on PS2. This game's going to remind you of, because you're going to search for stuff, you're going to find stuff, there's puzzles. It's like a Zelda game, but it's also like a Souls game, but it's also like a PS2 game. But it's this game, on the best way I can describe it is this game was made from people who have loved games for a very long time. Okay. And they love a lot of different things about a lot of different games. And they've taken all of their favorite things from all of the games that they've played, and they wanted to make a game with it, and that's what they did, and it's fucking beautiful.
Whenever two games come out that I want to play, they come out close to each other
at the same time. Yeah.
I feel like, not that the other game's not good, but for me personally, I feel like the cream rises to the top. I play them both, and I'm like, one of them is like, I want to play this game, and then I'll go get the other one. Is that kind of how you were with DL and Kana? It's like Kana grabbed you and you wanted to finish it, so you'll go back and play.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what has happened right now. I've been loving Deathloop. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted to make another video for the channel as quickly as possible, and there was another popular game coming out. Not only popular, but also there was a lot of questions about it. It's a new studio. Is it going to do well? It's an indie game, but it also looks like a AAA game, but it also, all these questions were coming out. So it's a game that I wanted to cover. So I stopped Deathloop so that I could do a video for Kana, but then, I just want to finish Kana. Now, Kana's a little bit of a different beast. As a game, in the way that we're talking about it, like a PS2S game, back then, these games were very long for us. They took time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now I know and understand the DNA of this game enough to beat it very quickly. It is not a long game. It really isn't, but it's paced well. So it's as long as it needs to be. There's no question about that.
And even that harkens back to the old school.
Right.
You used to be able to beat a game in a weekend.
Yeah.
Is it fairly linear?
I mean, is it
just like a straight path through it? Or?
Yes and no. So there are some open areas, essentially, but you have to go where you have to go to. So you have to explore them. So, they're kind of open, but they're also kind of linear. But it's beautiful in the way that it works, right? So it makes sense when you play it, and it's harder to describe because of how we're talking about it right now. It feels like an old game, but it also feels like a new game. But it also
got modern.
It's right in a sweet spot that I think a lot of games aren't doing right now. And
like an old game that was remastered, except the game didn't
really
exist.
Yeah.
So it's not a PS2 game that was remastered. It's a PS2 game that didn't exist.
Right.
And is now remastered.
And does now exist. Exactly.
It now exists, yeah.
David, do you see this as a franchise? Like, do you think this is
They'll make another one. And
okay.
A lot of people are saying, hey, we love this game and there's certain things with it. Okay, that's any game you play. That's any developer. Yeah. There's very few developers that you will get a game from and it's perfect, right? Nintendo's one of them. And you're still hearing news from Metroid Dread that there's a little pips and squeaks for some people here and there. It's a game, all right? It's to be expected.
It's in squeaks.
Right, so Kena may have its flaws. Kena may have its flaws, but I haven't seen any.
So it's got room to grow, though. What you're saying is like a sequel, there's stuff they could improve, they can do better, they can build on that world.
You know, what usually happens is you get a great game, right? And then the second one is the best one. Right? You know those situations when that happens.
Yeah. That's been going on since, Sonic 2. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
People, you think about Sonic 1, amazing game, couldn't spin dash.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You go back, play Sonic 2 now and have fun. You go back, play Super Mario World now and have fun.
Yeah.
And I think what the game that really, when it comes to like how good sequels are in gaming, I think in gaming sequels are better than, like typically better than even movies, because I just think there's so many things that can go right when you're a game and so many things that go wrong. And the first one that really comes to my mind is like Uncharted 2 and how that became kind of the benchmark for a sequel.
Yeah.
And even when a game like Assassin's Creed came out, it's like, oh, this is great, but I can't wait for the second one because, you know, Assassin's Creed had this problem and this problem and this problem. And what's one of the best Assassin's Creed games? Assassin's Creed 2, you know? So, yeah.
Well,
it's always that leap. It's always that leap.
That being said, and I agree completely, Kena will have a sequel. They'll make another one. I haven't beaten the game yet. Let's get that clear. But I'm pretty far into it. I'm pretty close to the ending. And it's so good that, you know what?
So you don't know if she gets brutally murdered.
No, I don't know that. I don't know if they preach racism at the end of it or not. So don't hold me hostage here for what I'm about to say. But so far, what I've seen from Kena is I'm so impressed. I am so impressed that a indie developer made a game that is pretty much on par with the AAA.
And you know what's even crazier, David? They made it on PlayStation. And we all know PlayStation hates indies. You know, they can't stand them. I mean, I don't know how they got this game greenlit, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't know.
Did they have any support from Sony? Like, just
probably,
like,
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of support.
Yeah,
Sony.
they got.
It was on their. It was showcased.
It was in the clips, man. It was in the Nani threes is what we're calling it.
Yeah.
The Nani threes.
There's like different levels of support.
It's on their sizzle reel. It's been on their official.
So they've like dedicated their
press conferences. Yeah, it's been one of the most.
There's no doubt in my mind that PlayStation has probably also helped them in other ways. Maybe allocating some help with maybe technical art direction, for instance, to help improve.
Resources not
available to them at the time.
Not official like, oh, we're publishing this game. No, they're not. But I bet there's a strong what we call second party relationship.
A good connection.
Yeah. Oh no, it got heavy trailer distribution. Heavy, previews. Well, it's been on the Sony ecosystem for a while. Not as many trailers as Deathloop now. Let's not get crazy, because every time Sony shows up, you got to have a 5-minute trailer about Deathloop, and it wound up being worth it. But yeah, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, but okay, so to wrap it up, Kena is great. You both really need to look into it when you get a chance. It's definitely an experience worth.
And this is a full price retail game, right?
It's $40, I believe.
No, it's 40.
Yeah.
Really?
40. Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
It's totally worth 60.
Yeah,
totally worth 60.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I felt the same way about Ratchet and Clank 2016. You know?
Oh yeah.
$40 for that game, and
true.
Totally could have been 60.
Bargain.
So check it out. Deathloop, on the other hand, loving it. Can't wait to get back to it. What's really cool about that game is I feel like it's a game I'm probably going to be playing for a long time. In the sense that every once in a while I'll be like, hey, I want to do a loop. Let's see if someone... And the cool thing is people do invade you like they do Dark Souls, but you're on your own. And it's so much fun when you're not trying to get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been there.
Which is fine, right? Because more often than not, it's not ruined my day. If I've died, I wasn't doing anything important anyway. And I was having fun with the multiplayer, right? And then a lot of the time when I am doing something important, I'm just smart about how I'm playing, and then I end up killing the Juliana, and it's fun and it's breathtaking, and then I get my shit done too. So it's just
correct me if I'm wrong.
Stone,
it looks like a fun game. It doesn't look like a hard game.
It is
like
okay.
Dark Souls.
Right. So it's not a hard game. That's a good way to put it. What makes it hard is the Juliana that invades you. Other than that, the game is not difficult. Now, it can be at certain times. For instance, okay, you've learned how to assassinate someone the best, right? And so, okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to assassinate him. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill this fucker the way I know how, the way that's best, right? And you get in there and you start putting your plan into place, right? And then all of a sudden, you make a little mistake. You make a little thing wrong. And then you got a fucking whole army swarming you, and you're fucking the whole idea is Juliana or not, you're fighting for your life, you know. So numbers can kill you, but if you're being stealthy and smart about things, it's pretty easy. But being stealthy and smart isn't easy for a lot of people.
Isn't easy all the time. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
you know,
Gotcha.
it's a perfectly well packaged game in the way that you play it. I think it's very well done. So it's just fun. It's just a fun game to play, no matter what you're doing. And I highly encourage people, and you know that about me, that I'm a PvPer, I'm a Dark Souls. But even if it's not as hard as a Dark Souls game in that sense, right? And if you're smart about it, it's not a gun. Like, you know, Dark Souls, okay, you get invaded, you have to be better at parrying. You have to be better at hitting someone with a sword. You have to be better at dodging. With Deathloop, you don't have to be better at shooting somebody. You just have to be smarter. You know, place your mines somewhere and trick them and loop, you know, bait them. There's all kinds of... The beauty of Deathloop...
That's why they call it Deathloop.
The beauty of Deathloop is
you're looping around them and you kill them.
But there's so many ways to kill people in Deathloop. That you can set traps, you can set things up, and in a way that's not... Like, you'll see these clips done, right? You'll be like, oh man, I just killed Juliana this way. You'll never see it done again because there's so many ways. That's what's beautiful about it. So as long as you're smart and you're thinking about your area and where you're at, man, I highly recommend that game. That game is a lot of fun. And I loved Prey and Arcane. That was the last game that Arcane made, and I really loved Prey. I'm a fan of Dishonored, but I didn't love Dishonored.
So is this
but
like
I loved Prey.
Game of the Year potential?
I think Deathloop definitely has Game of the Year potential. Okay. I do believe it does. And
just 2021, definitely.
Definitely 2021. 2022, a lot of these games that are coming out right now, sadly, are going to have a hard time dealing with the games that are coming out in 2022 because they're just going to be so epic. You got God of War, possibly. You got Horizon, possibly. But I'm going to tell you what, for right now,
those two are definitely coming.
My personal game of the year will likely be Metroid Dread. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Metroid Dread, ladies and gentlemen. Coming out tomorrow, the
Friday,
8th
October 8th
of October.
As we're recording the next day, Friday.
What do you guys think of Metroid Dread? Have you seen anything? Are you hyped?
I checked out a couple reviews. I'm trying not to spoil too much. I don't want to get too into it. I just wanted to. I kind of want to.
Metroid have a story?
Yeah.
Does Metroid have a story? Bro. Metroid has more of a story than a fucking princess getting stolen by a reptile needing to be saved by a plumber. I'll tell you that, motherfucker. All right. Metroid has. You know what's so funny? I've been thinking about it. Metroid has such a huge story and such a mature story for what Nintendo typically gives out. I didn't think about this when I was younger, but I've been thinking about it the last few days in my anticipation for Dread. And there's a lot of things that people don't really know about.
Not to be confused with your dread for anticipation.
I'm not dreading it, you know. So Metroid, actually, the first Metroid and the subsequents have been heavily inspired by Aliens.
The movie.
The Aliens franchise, which a lot of people might not know. So much that one of the main villains that is throughout every single Metroid is Ridley. And he is this creepy looking purple fire breathing, plasma breathing, tail swinging dragon alien looking thing, and it's called Ridley, and it's they named it that, and they're unabashedly saying that it is an homage to Ridley Scott.
Another French word. Homage.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? I never put that together, David. You've just blown my mind tonight. I'm like,
I put it together and I never even played it.
I get it. Okay.
Give me your Metroid card.
I like it. Yeah.
And then so if you also notice too, Ken, the Metroids themselves, much like the face huggers in the Aliens franchise would hug on your face. If you noticed in the game, the Metroids would get on your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're like
these
jellyfish-looking things that jump on their head.
Cranium.
So the Metroid series has always had a feeling of, forgive me, dread. To be at the soundtrack, the sounds from everything that you're doing. Shit, man, I remember. So Metroid, Super Metroid, is one of the 2 games that really made me a gamer. Now, the first game I probably played, I think, was Super Mario Bros. On the SNES or the NES.
The NES,
and then I played other games on the NES, right? But then the Super Nintendo came out, and I played Zelda: A Link to the Past, and I played Super Metroid, and those 2 games are who I am. That's what started me. That was the beginning of David.
Did you ever play Metroid 2 on the Game Boy? On the old school green screen Game Boy?
Did not.
I tell you, it's amazing to me what they squeezed out of that horrible technology, like that ugly green screen. But you played that game, it was still an awesome immersive game, and it when I say the graphics were good, for that time they were really good. Like they had shading on the creatures and stuff, and it was, you could scroll either way on the screen.
It's fair to say that Nintendo has always tried to do their best with what they have.
Oh yeah, they made the most of that system with that game. 100%.
Same thing with Super Nintendo. Yeah. You look at Super Metroid right now. You go back and you take a look at a video of Super Metroid. It still holds up. You can still play it.
Lighting
Super
on it,
Nintendo
it's
a very pretty system.
Yeah.
Same as Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, it had some really neat tricks to it, and the sound design on Super Nintendo actually had a Sony sound chip in it.
Tell me about it.
I know that, and it for that time, the music was fantastic. I mean, it's just really good. One of my favorite things about Metroid games, though, is that almost every game has a really neat twist to it. Spoilers for people who haven't played any Metroid games. But
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You can be spoiled. All right, what do you got?
When the first
Longer
game
than
came
that,
out,
I assume.
You didn't know who the protagonist was. Samus Aran. That's not a boy or girl name. Like, who is this? And you don't find out.
That sounds like a Jedi name.
Yeah, you don't find out it's a female character until you beat the game, and I think you had to beat it within a certain time limit.
On which title? Yeah, I remember that.
The first Metroid, the very first Metroid on the NES.
Yeah.
Because you played that game, you're just the spaceman shooting the aliens.
But then in Super Metroid, every time you died, your suit exploded, and then Samus would be bikinied. Yeah. She'd just be like bikini,
So the first Metroid, everybody assumed her gender.
They did. They assumed her gender, and then you find out Samus.
They better be glad they're not living in this day and age.
Yeah, and there was as soon as gamers everywhere who notoriously hate women found out that it was a woman, they just took their systems and threw them out the window.
Threw that Nintendo in the wall.
Took a shower to get the cooties off. And that's why the series never amounted to anything, sadly.
Hey now.
Metroid games. Hey, you're
Hey now.
digging into some stuff here.
I'm kidding, of course. That didn't happen.
Anyway, so Metroid 2.
There's a lot of people that love the Metroid franchise. It's funny. I saw a post the other day, and the person said, "Hey, there's Link lovers, there's Zelda lovers, there's Mario lovers, but if you're a Metroid person, hit me up." And there's a fan base for it, and it's huge, man. And I know it's not as kid friendly as most Nintendo games. By far, but I've matured with it, and I was playing this game. I was playing Super Nintendo, Super Metroid when I was, 5, 6 years old, 7, something like that. Yeah. And I was playing this game that was probably way too hard. I remember it being super hard. Because the last thing I... Jump. Yeah, the wall jump where those little animals are in that kind of like green area, and you've got to do the wall jump up that long. Dude, I remember that being so hard, and what's so funny... It is hard. I watched a 100% playthrough the other night while I was doing work. I had a 100% playthrough up on, and the guy got to that point, and I was like, okay, he's been so quick this whole game. He's going to just knock this out. And I remember it being so hard, and I was like, I can't wait to see what he's doing. And then it was like not as hard for him, but he was still having a really hard time, and that made me feel good because I'm like, okay, but it probably took me hours, and it took him 10 minutes.
Well, because you had to like roll the control pad, like it wasn't just like you press right and then jump and then you press left on the other side.
You had to hit it right, and then also notice the animation and then flick it at the right time. Yeah,
it took a lot of practice. I spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, it's funny.
But anyway, like I was saying on the big reveals in each game, because the second game you're supposed to eradicate all the Metroids, and then you end up saving this baby Metroid at the end, which that was a really cool, story beat. And then in the third game, that baby Metroid ends up saving your life at the end, and that's one of my favorite endings of a game where they make you so overpowered at the end. They give you this like unstoppable laser beam, and it's so awesome when you get to use
that's Metroid. And fight in the
there
Metroid.
You go. Yeah, the mother.
You don't need to play Dread.
Yeah.
You already know what's gonna happen.
What kind of twist they'll have in this one? Because if they kind of follow that pattern, like each game had a pretty cool ending. Like some of the best endings of video games for me is that they save like a really neat plot point or a twist at the end. So I'm hoping they follow that pattern with this one, and they give players a really good reward at the end and something cool that's memorable. Because that's the kind of stuff that makes those games memorable. It's like you play through it, you're having a good time, but when it has a really cool ending...
That was cinematics, bro. They threw cinematics in before there was cinematics, and that's what that was. These boss fights had this crazy shit going on, and it was cinematics. You could no longer control your character. She was kneeled down on the floor, and something was going on. You're like fighting for your life, shooting missiles, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm shooting missiles, right? And then you're kneeling on the floor, can't do anything, and a Metroid swoops in, tries to save your life. They brought in like cinematics to that shit in a way that wasn't done before because you couldn't. And that's what's so impressive about the 2D Metroid franchise is that they were able to make it cinematic by doing certain key events that were happening in battles within the game. And even though Samus didn't talk at all, they still had a way to invoke emotion. And man, such a great franchise. I'm so excited for Dread. I cannot believe it. I'm like, what? Give me a time device.
Well, and they've been working on this game so long. Like this game has been in development in some stage of development.
I don't know that they've been working. I don't think that they've been working on it that long. I actually looked into Mercury Stream today. Do you know who Mercury Stream is?
I assume that's a development team, but I don't know much else about them.
Mercury Stream is the team that is currently assigned to making Metroid Dread. What's interesting about these people is that they are in Brazil. They're a team in Brazil.
Really?
A bunch of Brazilians, I'm sure very amazing, talented. I'm just saying, what I read on LinkedIn. And that has nothing to do with Japanese culture, which might have nothing to do with Nintendo, which is a little... I've been trying to find the connection today. I've been looking for it. I've been like, this development
Nintendo has teams all over.
I know, I understand that, but I want to know where their connection happened. Like, how did they start talking? How did Nintendo say, we trust you enough? We're Nintendo, and we trust you enough to make a Nintendo game. I want to know where that connection is.
Nintendo released a video where they talked about, they had this idea, this like kind of kernel of an idea for this game a long time ago, but that doesn't mean it's been in development this whole time.
So this is where I'm gonna let me get back to it, right?
Yeah.
So Mercury Stream, they've been, if you look at their Wikipedia about their game development cycle, they successfully rebooted the help me out, Castlevania.
Oh, really?
Okay.
They rebooted the Castlevania franchise, and if you notice, they made a game every year. That is impressive for a team
in this day and age. Yeah,
to make a game. They made 3 Castlevania games, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3 Castlevania games in like 2013, 14, 15. So it was like year to year, and I'm like, what? I looked at it. I was like, you made a game a year? Okay, so
2D Castlevania games.
2D Castlevania games, and if you look at their actual website, they say we successfully helped Konami reboot the Castlevania franchise. Yada yada yada. Right? Yeah. This is really cool because it makes me think. 2 years ago, when there was the Nintendo Direct, whatever the fuck it was called, E3. I think it was E3 at the time. They put up a big screen, right? Metroid Prime 4, the game we've all been waiting for, right? That was 2 years ago. It was just a title screen. Haven't seen shit about it since. We haven't seen a clip, haven't seen a picture, haven't seen a thing. All right?
We talked about it. All they said was that we're starting over. They said, you know what, guys? Yeah. They said, we didn't like where it's going. We're having it redone.
Since then. But that wasn't right away. And I think it's actually been maybe 3 years since that title screen came up. I think about a year ago, it was like 2 years in development after that, further into development after that. And then they were like, okay, yeah, we're having issues. We're moving to a different developer. We realized whoever we were going with. This is what's funny to me. They're using, Nintendo is no longer using themselves to make games. You look back at Super Nintendo. You look back at Super Metroid. It's all Japanese names. You know it's Nintendo. Oh yeah,
it's internal.
You know it's Nintendo.
Internal. Yeah.
You look back at Metroid Fusion. All Japanese names. You know it's Nintendo. And now you're seeing at the end of Metroid Dread, you're gonna see Brazilian names.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, is this Nintendo? Hold on. So anyway, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold. Let me get back to where I was going. Metroid Prime 4. Right. We've been waiting for this game. Right. So. Fans got mad, right? And this is really my wholehearted thought. Fans got really, really upset that they had not seen more about Metroid Prime 4. Metroid is a huge fan base. People love this game. I can tell you, because I grew up on it. I love it, and I want more of it.
Can confirm.
Nintendo
fans were mad.
People were very upset that they saw a little snippet.
Every time Nintendo came out and they didn't have it.
With the amount of time that Mercury Stream has put out a 2.5D game,
yeah,
I bet you money. I'll bet you all the money in the world. Nintendo was like, all right, we got to give them something.
Yeah,
we got to give them something. Okay. Who do we got? Okay, Mercury Stream. Okay, get those guys. We need the fourth storyline of Fusion and. Give them that shit while we fix this fucked up stuff that's been going on with Prime, and get their mind off of it. Give them Metroid. Give it to them. Yeah. Give them Metroid. Give it to them. And then after that, when you're really successful for that, then we're gonna give them what they really wanted, and they won't be mad anymore. They'll be really happy and super stoked.
Right. Yeah.
That's my opinion. As quickly as they've been putting out games, I'm telling you, a year, they're putting out a 2.5D Castlevania Metroidvania game, right?
Yeah.
I bet you money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's...
It was some stuff that came together. I think this is something that's been on the shelf. Nintendo, I think they had started developing it, and it got put on the shelf for whatever reason. They said, well... technology is not quite where we want it to be. We can't do this in the vision we have for it. So they just put it there. And then, exactly like you said... Metroid Prime 4 has been in such deep development for so long. They're like, why don't we make this game that we have sitting on the shelf here?
Okay.
And they found somebody that could do it.
Okay, and, you say that. Yeah. But my question is, you got the Wii, you got the GameCube, right? Okay, for instance, right? You made an amazing fucking Metroid game on the Super Nintendo. Not only that, bro, you made a better Metroid game than that on a Game Boy Advance. You're telling me technological, and I've been hearing this in reviews, and that's probably where you heard it. You've been hearing this in reviews. They're talking about, the Switch is making Dread look better than it ever did, and so glad that it's on the Switch. You're telling me the fucking GameCube can't make a better Super Metroid game than a Game Boy Advance? Bro, I'm telling you, like,
it's a weird.
No. There's no way they could have made a 2.5D Metroid game on the GameCube. Shit, bro.
Oh,
Shit, bro.
Sure they could.
Not even on the GameCube. They came out with the Wii after that, bro. Oh, the Wii was more powerful than the GameCube. You're telling me,
Well,
not you, but everyone. You're like everyone who's talking about this stuff. You're telling me that there's been 2 consoles, 3 consoles since the last Metroid game, and you're telling me you needed technological advance? No, that's a fucking excuse. I'm sorry.
Other M came out on the Wii, but that was done by, I think, Namco did that one.
Yeah, it was an afterthought. This stuff was afterthoughts.
Yeah, yeah, it's not in the main story. Like, is it even canon? The other M
it's the
story?
one everyone loved, right?
No, nobody loved that.
That's the one everybody loved. Like she had
a game-breaking
like
bug.
a mother or something. I don't know.
No.
There was a bug in that game where you could have it broken to the point where you'd have to send your memory card to Nintendo to fix it.
I bet you they would too.
Right? Because you couldn't update it on the Wii, I guess. I don't know. It's silly.
Too far from the main point, but I cannot contain my excitement for this game tomorrow. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for Metroid Dread. I've been seeing so many good things. It's got a 90 on Metacritic. Fuck you, it's 88, but I don't want to hear it because it's 90 to me. You get some naysayers everywhere, but a lot of people are saying it's a Game of the Year contender. Okay. For sure, and as a Metroid fan,
it'll get the Nintendo bump. So
Nintendo bump.
every good Nintendo game is a Game of the Year contender.
That's just true.
That's just, and I think, and it seems like a good game. So
hey, I will be as unbiased as possible in my Game of the Year. Seriously,
everyone who did not hear the last 30 minutes of podcast
seriously
believes that. If you turned on your podcast and you started from the very moment he said that, you're like, yeah, sounds legit.
Seriously.
But if you maybe kind of sort of started at the beginning, you're like, what?
Listen to me. All right,
I'm listening.
I will be as unbiased as possible in my Game of the Year choice.
Yeah.
But I will also mention, if it is Metroid, and I know that it's of a slightly biased chance, I will mention that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
No, it's fine to be biased.
I think it's fair.
It's fine to like.
I've loved a lot of games this year.
Yeah.
But I love a fucking Metroid game, bro.
Let me ask you a question, right? Because we were talking earlier about this might be one of your most anticipated games of all time. What was the last game you were this excited about? Nick, Ken, do you have one?
I don't know. I was really excited when Uncharted 4 came out because I love that series so much. When that 4th one came out, I was pretty hyped.
Good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think this is probably my most I've been excited for a game in a very, very, very long time, and I wish I could give you a better answer, but it really stems from Super Metroid really being a defining moment in my life as a gamer. And then I did play Metroid Fusion, which I absolutely loved on my Game Boy Advance not too long after that. And then since then, bro, it's been 19 years since the last 2D
That's the thing about Metroid.
game.
You don't get a new Metroid every generation. Yeah. And yet the Switch, hopefully we'll have 2 brand new Metroid games if Metroid Prime 4 does ever come to fruition.
It will come.
It will.
This, I'm telling you, this is a staller. This was just a staller for Prime.
It'll be a launch title of their next system because that's all
pretty
Nintendo
good staller.
does.
88 on Metacritic. It's a pretty good staller.
Yeah. But that's incredible that we'll have 2 mainline Metroid games come out on one system.
Prime 4, mark my words, Prime 4 will be on the Switch. It might be on the Switch Pro.
Right.
But it'll still run on the...
sure.
I bet you, and they were talking about this too, and I've heard this in a lot of ways, that they were talking about Metroid Dread right now, seemingly less beautiful looking when it's docked. They're saying that it's like remains in a constant 720p, which is what the handheld Switch version is, and it's saying that even when it's docked, it seems like it's still staying in that 720p range, but it's stretched.
But it's
now
stretched.
it looks a little worse. So a lot of people are speculating.
Really good.
But it looks beautiful on the OLED model, obviously. And a lot of people are speculating that they felt like this was a title that was being designed for a Switch Pro, which was rumored and everybody thinks was what they were actually aiming for before the Switch OLED was announced anyway. So
not that conversation again.
No.
So a lot of people are speculating that Metroid Dread might have been developed to run optimally on a Switch Pro. But I bet you... I bet you that Metroid Prime 4...
I disagree.
Yeah.
I do not think you can make a game for a console for anything other than the base console. If you make a PS4 game, like God of War,
but that's the point. So what they're saying is, though...
You have to make it for PS4.
But what they're saying is they were making it for the base console of the Pro, the base limits of what the Pro is capable of, and now they're having to downtune it. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Point I'm getting at, though, is that... I just don't agree. But Metroid Prime 4 will be on the Switch.
Okay.
That's my opinion, and it might run... of course, it'll run better on a
It'll
system
be a late generation... Yeah.
It'll be on the Switch. It'll probably be the Hail Mary of the Switch. It'll probably be the last game that you see on the Switch.
The Switch is what? The Switch is 4 years old, right?
It'll take the most. It'll use the most of the knowledge and the power that they found out of the Switch, and
Nintendo power.
Yep, the Nintendo power. It'll probably be the last game, the last big game you see on the Switch before Switch 2 or whatever is announced. But I promise
it'll be. Yeah,
Metroid 4,
Breath of the Wild 2.
Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, and it will be on the Switch. That's my
real quick. Do you remember the last big game on PlayStation 2? The last big AAA game.
Wasn't it a God of War?
God of War 2. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, God of War 2. Yeah.
Chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, yeah, because that was the PlayStation 3 was already out.
This team is so good, too.
God of War
2. 3, man. But how good was 3, man?
Really good.
God of War 3 was pretty good.
For the hardware, though, like that they got that to run on a PS2 was...
It's impressive.
Right, be honest. How long did you punch Zeus in God of War 3?
As long as I could.
Before you realized you had to stop punching him before the game would actually continue.
As long as I could, man. It was a long time. That's fucking forever, dude, right?
I punched him for like 10 minutes. I was like, Kratos isn't done with you. Clearly.
But I think that was also one of the most beautiful things about the game was it let you be unapologetically brutal to the situation, to the narrative, to what they were making. It let you live what they wanted the story to tell.
Well, here's what I say because you know what, little rant here, little 1-2 minute rant to the people because when God of War 2018 came out, it got a lot of praise, but also a lot of retroactive. Not hate, but like criticism of the old Kratos.
Oh,
he was too violent. He was too one note.
Are you talking about when the new Kratos came out? Okay.
So much they're being more critical of the old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Kratos is. I love 2018 God of War. It was deserving of Game of the Year. I loved it. I love the new direction, but that doesn't take away the greatness of the old God of War or the greatness of the old Kratos.
No, dude,
he was one note. He was.
It's so funny,
dude. Let me just say this one thing: if a god tricked you into murdering your family, and then he took the ashes, the ashes of your murdered family got like tattooed across your entire skin, so that every time you wake up and you look at yourself, you're like, oh. There's my daughter. There's my wife. You'd be angry too. You'd be a little bit more one note too. That's all I'm saying. All right. I love new Kratos, but you don't have to. Break old Kratos down and throw rocks at him and say, "Oh, I hate it." But to build the new Kratos up, you know
what's funny, man? You know what's real funny? What's real funny is nowadays people really talk about games. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I was doing when I was playing God of War 2? I was playing fucking games.
It. You were playing
it. I wasn't talking about... I was talking to my friends, like, oh, man, how cool was God of War 2, right? Like, how awesome was that stuff? But now you got, like, people on the internet Greenpeacing it and shit, wanting you to, like... think about his life values and how they could have wrote it better. I don't fucking know.
That game was...
And me too, hashtag maybe. I don't fucking know.
they did what they set out to accomplish. They wanted to make an action-heavy, just a badass game, and that's what they made.
Those games were king.
Yeah. And they did what they set out to do. And the new one, they wanted to change that up. They're like, we want to make this character a little deeper than he was, and that's what they did. So
and they did what they said.
I think that's what they had to do. I think my opinion is they had to change with the times. Games were changing, and if they wanted to keep the franchise alive, they needed to change it, and they did the smartest thing they could have done. Like that game,
it was a great reboot.
Yeah,
it was a great reboot.
Fantastic. Yeah. Ooh-wee. Let me some God of War. Old and new. Old and new.
Mm-hmm. Old and
you
new.
know what? He was just as beautiful then as he is now.
Beard and all.
So, that being said, that's enough about Metroid Dread.
We'll see.
Looking forward to it. For now.
Okay. Yeah.
For now.
All
right. Well, talking about Nintendo stuff, I feel like I want to talk about this Mario movie.
Oh, yeah. Chris Pratt.
Pratt? Yeah. Because
Chris Pratt the rapper?
You know, I have a special place in my heart I have for the old school Mario movie, which it's a bad movie.
Dude, I love that. No, fuck you, dude. Movie. I love that movie. And On-Rail fight us. On-Rail fight us all tooth and nail all night. I love that movie, bro.
Dennis Hopper. Yeah, I freaking love that movie.
Quick question. And it's my only one. What is wrong with you people? Even as a kid, I was like, this is hot garbage.
You also didn't play Final Fantasy until you were like 19 years old, so like.
No, I played Final Fantasy X when I was a kid, sir. I played Final Fantasy X over. That's
probably what it did. You probably played it too soon, and it ruined your childhood, and you couldn't appreciate good movies like Super Mario Brothers by Universal Studios, Florida. All right, so nothing was wrong with us, bro. It was a good movie. Man, that was a good movie. It was a terribly bad good movie. It was okay. You know what I call those? Fun movie. They're fun movies. They're not meant to be terribly smart. They're not meant to be good in any sense of the form.
It had nothing to even do with the game. It's a fun watch.
They tried to shoot.
It had nothing to do with the game.
You had Mushroom Kingdom. You had
he was a plumber. There was fungus. There was bombs. There was a Yoshi. There was a Bowser. Nothing.
Bombs.
There was nothing to do. Nothing to do with the games.
Bomb. But. To Andre's point, though, that movie
we gotta watch this one day and stream it because I think somebody kidnapped you and told you were seeing Super Mario Brothers and showed you a better movie and you never knew it.
You know what? We should watch this together.
There's no freaking way.
We should watch it together.
There's no way you watch Super Mario Brothers even as a kid. I don't care if you're 5, 3, 2, 1. I don't care. There's no way you watched that movie and said, yeah, it's great.
We should watch it together and then we'll talk about it. We should have commentary on. Yeah,
you're gonna watch that movie. You're gonna be like, what is this?
Okay. So real quick. Okay.
All right.
Ken really wants to talk about this movie,
really wants
and
to talk
you
about
will
this
hold your shit back.
I will. I will try.
I was going to give you credit, Andre, because this movie kind of bit Nintendo so bad that they have not made a movie since then.
Okay, so I was gonna. Okay, real quick. So I was gonna, yes, you exactly what you just said. Andre and I had spoke about this before. So I wanted to ask you, Andre, you tell us a little bit more about what you said because it was a really interesting conversation. And you'd said that this movie was so bad that Nintendo was not willing to let anyone make another Nintendo movie again for as long as they lived. And then now my question is, why now? And why is it Chris Pratt? Why is it fucking Oprah Winfrey? Why is it
All right, time out. Is that a joke?
No, there's no Oprah.
I don't know.
Jack Black.
You get Jack Black.
There's everyone. There's like fucking
no.
Chris Rock's in it.
Without knowing the Dave Chappelle, without knowing the full reason.
Tyrone.
I would just assume. Because it's been decades, and there's been probably 3 or 4 leadership changes in Nintendo.
Agreed.
And they're like, all right, you know.
Now's the time. And not only that, but because it's not a live action, it is an animated.
Somebody sold them.
It is an animated movie.
Well, and they have a partnership with Universal. They have a theme park they're building. They build it in Florida, in Japan.
Oh, perfect advertisement. Yeah,
exactly.
What's it called? Is it like Nintendo Land or something?
It's just Super Nintendo World or something.
Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, I think so.
They tweeted out that they were adding that Donkey Kong Country was the newest addition to Mario Land, and I tweeted back and I was like, sweet. I've always wanted to wait in line for 3 hours to ride a barrel themed roller coaster while wearing my $40 red DK tie and sucking on my banana on a stick.
And they're gonna take you. They're gonna take you. They're gonna lift you up. Some real big, strong, powerful man is gonna take you. He's gonna lift you up. He's gonna put you in a barrel, and he's gonna push that barrel over a waterfall. And if you survive, you'll have had fun.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Luckily, they're trying to make everyone survive these theme park rides these days. So hopefully,
it's a big point of emphasis for the theme parks.
No, so I'm looking forward to it. I love theme parks. Everyone loves theme parks. Jokes aside. Yeah.
So the movie, the new. What do you want?
We don't know much. We don't know much about it. Like all we know is the cast. And we know it's animated.
Can I tell you?
I assume it's a comedy.
It's Mario Rabbids Kingdom rap battle of history is what's going on. That's what's happening. It's gotta be, bro. You got Chris Pratt. You've got Jack. It's no shit. Seriously, I'm telling you, it's fucking Mario and Rabbids Kingdom rap battles of history.
Keegan-Michael Key, right? Keegan-Michael Key.
Yes, he's playing Toad, I believe. Yeah.
Key.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, here's the thing though. People are like, I don't understand the casting. You know, why is he playing Toad? And I'm like, I don't know.
Why not? He'll be great.
Who is Toad? What is Toad's personality? Right. Toad is the filler guy that drives next to you in Mario Kart. Yeah. They can do whatever they want with Toad. So the casting
actually, I don't know that you've learned a lot about Toad, but Toad has a personality.
Oh yeah.
And he searches for treasure. And he's very smart and helpful, actually.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the least dumb characters in Mario, which is funny that he is playing.
He's the guy that runs a lot of the bonus things,
who is himself not a dumb person, but he plays dumbly in things for comedy. So it's funny that he is playing a comedy version of something that... But it doesn't matter.
And again, I'm assuming this is a comedy because of the casting.
Exactly. Yes, that's the point I'm getting at. Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Trolls
and
Pixar
because it's a
movie.
Mario movie. I don't think it's a drama. I don't think it's Shakespeare. Probably not.
Yeah. Can you imagine though, real quick, Chris Pratt saying it's a me Mario? How would it sound?
I don't think we'll have to imagine it. Oh, let me ask you a question though.
He's not going to be like Italian Chris Pratt. He's not going
to be Italian Chris Pratt.
He's going
to be Italian.
There's going to be it's a me, Mario. There's going to be none of that. It's going to be like, I'm Chris Pratt. I'm Star-Lord too, and I'm going to save Princess Peach. That's what it's going to be.
There are still a few people you can make fun of, and I don't know why. I don't make the rules. All right, I don't make the rules. I just know them. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to point that. I want to point that out. There. I want to say it one more time. I do not make the rules, people. I just know them.
Okay. What's the rule?
And Italians are one of those people you can still make fun of.
Oh, okay.
Will that be the case when that movie comes out? Yeah. Will there be an Italian Me Too? Will there be like Chris Pratt's face with a giant red circle and a diagonal? Like, oh no, we don't. You know, is that going to be the case? Is he taking jobs away from good Italian American actors?
I don't know.
Should Robert De Niro have been considered?
Exactly. Joe Pesci missed out.
If Robert De Niro was Mario, he'd be like, it's me, Mario.
It's me, Mario.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah. Yeah.
You looking at me?
We won't be able to do this. These terrible Robert De Niro impressions in 2 years.
So
that's what I give it. I give it 2 years.
So Nintendo's throwing the dice again. They're doing this gamble because this is a pretty big deal to them making this movie. But do you think they have like a whole set of movies lined up? Like if this does well, are we going to see a Zelda movie? Are we going to see a Star Fox movie?
Metroid's next.
Metroid movie, right?
Let me tell you something. A Zelda movie
or what? Like
a Zelda movie would be easy to make a hit. First of all, you could do a live action Zelda movie.
Too easy.
The story is simple.
Yeah.
But people love it. So you have some creativity with the script, right? The closest they got to a movie after the terrible dumpster fire that is Super Mario Brothers, the movie. You know what the closest they got to a movie was? IGN's April Fool's Day.
Oh, that's right.
You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yes,
With
yes, I
Zelda?
remember that. Which
People
was like
got
almost
absolutely-
plausible. Like you saw that and it's like, is that real? Could that?
It was their best one because it was so realistic.
Yeah.
And they hadn't done a whole lot of that before, and people didn't know whether to like to what to think about it, and people absolutely loved it. It was just a teaser trailer, right?
Exactly.
It was fake, obviously. But
and that proves that they could release a Zelda movie and it could be as bad as, even worse than the old Super Mario Brothers movie, and it would still make money because that property is so valuable.
If they actually put Zelda in there and actually put Link in there and actually put some form of Ganon in there, it's already better than the Mario movie.
Okay,
already.
Right.
Look, man, look at. They made a final.
To my boy Yoshi.
They made
they did to my beautiful boy.
Listen,
I love Yoshi.
Have you seen Final Fantasy movies?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We watched the last one together. I loved it.
That's a clear yes.
Good times.
But have you seen Final Fantasy Spirits Within?
Yeah, I have seen the Spirits Within.
That is not anything based on a game at all.
No.
That is a completely different story with Final Fantasy slapped on it. That is a Final Fantasy movie that has nothing to do with a Final Fantasy game. If you're telling me...
With the exception of the sequels, every Final Fantasy is different from each other.
But no. Yeah. That's not the point I'm getting at. This has nothing to do with any game.
Okay.
Do you remember it?
What?
Spirits Within.
Spirits Within, yeah.
It's just a movie. It has nothing to do with the game.
But it's in that universe because Final Fantasy X, for instance, has nothing to do with Final Fantasy VII. And that has nothing to do with Final Fantasy IX.
There's no Final Fantasy in it, is what I'm saying. There's no Sephiroth. There's no Cloud. There's no Squall.
7. That's 7.
There's no Squall.
That's 8.
There's no Tonberries.
Is
that every final? You want to say okay? That's every Final Fantasy now. Are you ready to tell me that?
No, it's not a 60-hour movie. It's not a 60-hour movie. They don't have everything.
Do you remember the movie?
I remember the movie.
What was it about?
I saw the movie.
What was it about?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, so now you just need to stop. You just need to stop.
Dying or something.
You just need to. Okay. So there's nothing to do with Final Fantasy in it, and that's the point I'm getting at. All right.
All right. Disagree.
Okay. Well, then tell me what's the point and what. Give me a Final Fantasy moment in that. Go ahead.
I don't remember the plot of Final Fantasy.
I'm waiting. So you can disagree with me, but you don't remember.
I don't remember the plot of The Spirits Within, but I do remember it is a Final Fantasy movie with Final Fantasy tropes.
There's nothing Final Fantasy in there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right.
And
rewatch it. Yeah. You can't disagree with me. You don't remember. You don't remember.
Final Fantasy tropes.
Okay, well, what were they?
Let me tell you. Final Fantasy, what was the Final Fantasy VII movie? I forgot what it's called.
Advent Children.
Advent Children, thank you.
Right.
That is a movie set in the Final Fantasy VII universe. That's why it has Cloud and Sephiroth and Tifa. Final Fantasy King.
But listen, even if it wasn't, and Bahamut was in it, which it was... If it wasn't in the Final Fantasy VII universe, but Bahamut was still in it, it would be a Final Fantasy movie. There's no fucking Bahamut in Final Fantasy Spirits Within. There's no Tonberry. There's no Chocobo. That's the point I'm getting at. It's not a Final Fantasy movie. There's nothing. You might need to go rewatch it. I'm telling you. Just okay. So we'll put this on pause. We'll come back to this because trust me, I've watched that movie a bunch. There's nothing Final Fantasy related into it. Nothing at all.
You know what?
Not a one thing. I'd love you to challenge me.
You know what? I'm willing to concede that you may be right. If you watched it a bunch of times, I watched it once when I was a kid. I remember they were trying to save the planet, which is a common, staple among Final Fantasy. I remember some invisible stuff. They're shooting at them.
Yeah,
maybe you're right though. Maybe Final Fantasy Advent Children, or not Advent Children, but Spirits Within.
Nothing, bro. I'm telling you, promise you, nothing.
Not
a single
thing, though.
Final.
It was pretty.
Yeah, it was. It was a fucking awesome movie. Pretty. Hey, it was a really cool story too, but it wasn't Final Fantasy. So the point I'm getting at is, If you can have a Final Fantasy movie that has nothing to do with a Final Fantasy game, you can make a Mario movie do well with a Mario.
Yes.
That's the point I'm getting at.
Mario.
It's a slam dunk. I mean,
Luigi
even with the
Mario.
baggage, even though the old movie was bad and it has a pretty bad reputation. Let's just not say it's
only
bad.
by
Let's
the
say
people that watched it.
I think it had a great
reputation.
reputation, if you ask my recollection. But
right. But the new one, I mean, that's been a long time. Kids nowadays, which I feel like this is being marketed to kids. It's Illumination. It's a studio that did the Minion movies.
Oh,
they make kid movies.
Go on.
I'm telling you, Mario Rabbids Kingdom rap battle. That's what's happening right now.
Oh my god. Yeah. But it's a slam dunk for like making money. Like they will make money on that movie.
It just hit me.
They will.
It just hit me. It's
They'll
makers
make more than they did off that other crap.
It just hit me. It's makers of the Minions movie.
Yes.
Dude, it is unapologetically a Mario Rabbids Kingdom movie. I bet you. I'm telling you.
Positive.
I'm telling you.
See Rabbids on the.
It's a Mario Rabbids Kingdom movie. That's what's going on.
They are under no obligation to release the full cast.
No.
Well, I hope we get a trailer somewhat soon. The movie comes out next year. We're like less than a year away.
It's Mario Rabbids Kingdom. Let me quit while I'm alive. It's Mario. I'm telling you, it's Mario Rabbids.
Guys, you heard it here first.
That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be.
David has the scoop.
I have a feeling, man. The feeling is very strong now. That's
Well, we still have a long way to go. This movie doesn't come out until December 21st, 2022. So we got over a year and a couple of months to go. I'm hoping we see a trailer, maybe around the Super Bowl time. That they tend to drop those big trailers around then, or at least by summer. I think E3, if they even have an E3.
This movie's as big as you think it's going to be to have a Super Bowl trailer, but
yeah. Oh, Andre, this movie will make a ton of money because
it will.
Mario is as big as Mickey Mouse.
I don't know. I don't even know if they need. I don't even know if they need to spend Super Bowl trailer money on it for it to make money.
And they have a worldwide audience. Like Mario is popular everywhere. Like every continent. It's like so. Yeah, that they know they're kind of the huge audience for it. I think they will show a trailer.
I think it'll be better than the old movie easily, and I think it'll make way more money, and it won't be the worst video game movie of all time.
Dude, if it doesn't have John Leguizamo, I don't want to watch it.
It'll be a fun kids movie, and it might be good for adults. It might not, but it'll make money.
Hopefully, yeah. But
not saying it's going to be Frozen or the Lego movie.
I have to go pee. I'm gonna go pee.
Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah.
You guys keep talking while I pee.
Because I remember Wreck-It Ralph, they actually talk about Mario in that, and Bowser did have a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of cameos in the Wreck-It Ralph series.
Yeah, and I feel like even if it was around that quality movie, I'd be very happy with that. Because I really enjoyed those movies. I thought Wreck-It Ralph was a lot of fun.
Those studios are better than Illumination.
That's Disney,
in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the animation
studio. Lego movie is, I guess, Warner Brothers. That's who owns Batman. So I would assume.
Yeah.
But I don't really. Yeah. That could have been the WB. A lot of WB properties, I think, for Lego movie. But yeah, Disney. They're just better at that type of thing. I mean, kids like Illumination though, but
they do, and I like the Despicable Me. I thought was. Yeah, Despicable Me was a fun movie. I liked it.
It could be a success and not be as good as Wreck-It Ralph. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that might be a high bar. I don't care how many A-list celebrities they get.
So I looked up the writer of the Mario movie because they have it on the IMDb page. Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of looking down the right path because it was the writer of Minions: Rise of Gru, writer of the Lego Movie. Well, at least Lego Movie 2. I don't know if he wrote the first one. Yeah, so some things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he knows what he's doing. It's gonna be a solid kids movie,
Yeah. Yeah. So looks.
I was just talking about this with Holman about the celebrity occasion of kids movies and animated movies.
Oh yeah,
How
the kids
and
don't care.
how it
Kids don't know if
started
that's
with
Chris Pratt. Yeah,
like it started with Robin Williams as Genie. Before that, it was like,
true.
and I that was one of the best. First of
Yeah.
all, Aladdin's my favorite Disney movie.
Oh really?
Genie, yeah, mainly because of
Okay.
Princess Jasmine,
Respect for
but
that.
just a beautiful movie, all in all.
Okay.
And he's great in that role.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny, like he didn't want it to be about him. Like he didn't want to
Right.
be marketed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't want the Genie to be like front and center. And Disney
Right.
basically just like went back on their word and marketed like Robin Williams and had the Genie is so
Yeah.
front and center on the marketing. And he didn't work with Disney for a while.
Oh yeah, they had a bit of a
For a long time.
feud there.
And I think the main reason is because like he respected the voice actors and he wanted that to be about them. But now after that, it was kind of like a tipping point or like a canary in the coal mine kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been so many movies that are like, all right, this has this big name and that big name. It's like there's so many, and it's not like it's not always bad. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a B movie.
Mm-hmm. With Jerry Seinfeld, is that what you're
Jerry
talking about?
Seinfeld, yeah. But sometimes it's good, right? But there's a lot of talented voice actors that like no one's like, oh, who voiced Simba? But Lion King is one of the greatest movies of all time, right?
Right, exactly.
Just full stop. Doesn't even have to say animated.
Oh.
So you start to see all these new movies that like Chris Rock and Osmosis Jones or Will Smith and Angelina Jolie, hallowed be her name, as Fish in a movie about fish. You have all this stuff start to happen, especially with the people that are not Disney. Disney has a lot of it.
Yeah, you look it down the cast, it'll be a lot of really known names. I will say, like you said, Disney and Frozen didn't have a lot of recognizable names. Kristen Bell, I guess, is pretty well known, but not too many other of the voices were well known. They are now, but a lot of that's because that movie did so well. That's helped them gain more.
And Disney's kind of always kept to that. Like they don't Disney doesn't have animated movies that every single one is like a Hollywood.
They're not casting it to get the draw of the audience from those actors, because this Mario movie, they definitely are going for a certain audience, because they release the cast list before anything else.
Because that's what they want. That's what they want. Yeah. And that's
they don't even have so much as a still shot of the movie. There's nothing, like they very little marketing on this so far.
Not even the red hat. No. And it's funny because we were talking, it's like the actors, there was this stigma, right? Where actors doing superhero movies, it's not that way anymore with Marvel, unless you're Martin Scorsese and only 3 hour mafia movies could be true cinema, but it's funny, like there was never a stigma about playing a kid's movie, and it never even like went against their record, so to speak. So it's like you play, if they had a bad, if an actor has a bad kids movie, no one cares. It's not.
Oh, that's a freebie.
It's just like whatever. Yeah, so they don't care. You know,
that's just a paycheck. You don't have to worry about anything.
So it's very interesting how it's has been treated. Welcome back, D Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Denise.
Yeah.
Denise.
So I think that's about all we could say about Mario movie. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's fun. Yeah,
dude, there better be fungus, man. That's all I gotta say.
Lots of fungus. Lots of mushrooms in this movie.
Yeah.
There were some fun guys,
Yeah. But I know that they wouldn't be making this movie if they weren't hoping it does become a franchise.
Are you a ghost? You're a ghost, aren't you?
Yeah, you disappeared.
I just turned translucent. No, I feel like they don't make any movie without already planning a sequel. And I would bet you almost anything they have a Super Mario movie 2 somewhere. Somebody's already trying to make a script for it, even before, this is still a year out. So it's just, are we seeing this new age of Nintendo movies, I guess?
Princess is once again captured.
Yes, once again.
I'll gladly save her every time. Andre, what do you want? You want to talk about anything? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I had some real quick,
Yeah.
It was just. It was just. I think we understand that Naughty Dog is the best developer in the Sony
In the
ecosystem,
stable.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's pretty well established. I think they're one of the best in gaming. Really,
Yeah. Although Insomniacs really making a run for that title.
Valve and Nintendo are kind of the only ones that are on that level.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was going to talk about, Ken. When do we start? Where do we put Insomniac? If they're not the best, are they not the most important?
So
they're the MVP right now. Yeah.
The thing I think right now is what's going on is Naughty Dog gets to make the games they want to make. Insomniac makes the games that PlayStation wants them to make to a degree, right?
With Spider-Man, Marvel came to them and they say, "Which character do you want?" And they kind of gave them a choice, and they're like, "Well, yeah, we want Spider-Man." Of course.
I love it. I love Insomniac because they're like, hey. They're like, hey, they come up to you, say, hey, you can make any character you want. What do you feel passionate about? And they're like,
Spider-Man.
I want the best character. that's a big swing right there.
Yeah,
Spider-Man is the most recognizable comic book character on the planet. He's the most popular comic book character on the planet. The best superhero game people before that, right? People thought was Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
you know, there hasn't been a lot of good. There's been some Marvel characters, right, that have been Arkham. But Marvel, right, they have a lot of characters that people haven't had a lot of good games about. They could have took one of them easily, but they went after the king. They went after the big swing, and I like that. Yeah, that's a good quip. And you know, I do think they like I said, I do think they want to make it. But you just look at this catalog, man. 2016, they made Ratchet and Clank, the remake. $40 game, could have been $60 in my opinion. Amazing game, you know, solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. Then 2018, they make Spider-Man, and they just kind of raise their level, right? Mm-hmm. And now so far, right, PS5, they're holding us down. I mean, they really are. Miles Morales, right? Ratchet and Clank only on PS5. Then we got Spider-Man and then Wolverine even after that.
Oh, did you hear about the Wolverine game?
Yeah, they are.
Are they making that? Are they making Wolverine?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's 100%.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, the last.
Did you guys play the GameCube Wolverine game?
No, and I looked that up. You can't get that anywhere.
It was so good.
No, we talked about that. X-Men Origins. Not a good movie.
No.
Really not a good movie with some surprisingly bad special effects. And an actual like crazy fun game.
I loved it. I loved it, man.
It's like they weren't paying attention. Like the overlords at Marvel, they like weren't paying attention, and then I think it's Raven Studios. They were like, "Oh, we can make this violent. We can make it good. We can do whatever we want with it."
Yeah.
And it's a cult classic. People love that game.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never had more fun playing Wolverine.
Yeah. It's a PC. It was on PC, and you can't. It's not on Steam. It was one of those games for Windows titles, and I looked for it. I tried to find a copy because we were talking about it, and I was like, you know, I looked at some gameplay and some screenshots. I was like, this game looks good. Like I missed this when it came out, and you can't get it. It's like, that's
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog. Yeah. How many PS5 games we got working? Right.
They only need the one,
don't know.
bro.
They're working on
the one, bro.
They're working on Naughty Dog Factions, right? Or not Naughty Dog. Last of Us Part 2 Factions.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Sony Santa Monica. They're working on God of War. That'll be out, 2022.
Yeah.
Guerrilla Games. They're working on Horizon Zero Dawn 2, right?
Forbidden West. Yep.
Games that are out or officially announced. We have 4 Insomniac games for PS5. That is absolutely insane. I know they're a big studio, but I mean, I think it's the perfect name, Insomniac, because these dudes don't sleep. I mean,
the rate of which they release their games, because like you were talking about Naughty Dog, like the gap between Uncharted 4 and Last of Us 2 is a long time, and Last of Us 2 now has been out for quite a while, and the next
not long enough. I'm ready to play it again. I'm ready to play it again.
2019. That's like going on 3 years ago, man. Like,
I think it's 20.
Yeah.
20. Last of Us Part 2? I think Last of Us Part 2 is 2020.
No. Because 2020 was last year. That was when the PS5 came out.
Yeah, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
No, it's 2020. June 19th, 2020.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. Because it got delayed.
It was at the end of the PS4.
It was supposed to come out.
It was at the end of the PS4 life cycle. Yeah.
They pushed
and
it
then
out.
right after that was Ghost of Tsushima, like a month after that.
That's true.
Because The Last of Us Part 1 came out at the very end of the PS4.
You know what's funny? I played The Last of Us 2 twice before Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah.
But apparently it wasn't. I love that game so much, I played it again immediately after.
Wow.
It is an amazing title.
Yeah.
To me, pound for pound.
So the point I'm getting at is Naughty Dog only needs one, right?
Yeah.
They only need one game every few years, and
So I think it's fair to say they're the best. I think they're the best developer in the industry. You could argue Valve, you can argue Nintendo, some of their.
But you also got to think of the minds that are behind it too. Like you got Neil Druckmann, right?
Dr. Druckmann, yes.
Who is a part of that team, and his vision, his narrative helped make that game.
He's a co-president now.
What it is, right? And not everybody has one of those, right? So that's something you got to remember too. And not every studio is going to be the same. Not every studio is going to be equivalent to the other. But as long as everyone, my opinion is, as long as whatever studio it is trying to make their vision happen with the most passion and the best way that they can, you're going to have a great game. Whether it's a $30 title, 40, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to make the best game you can, you're relevant. You're important. We need you.
Yeah.
We need all the studios, to do.
I think it's fair to call Insomniac the workhorse of the Sony PlayStation family, and maybe the most important right now.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. If they didn't have Insomniac right now, think where the PS5 would be. They would still be selling well, but they would be missing a lot. Like those games they've released have been like very, very high quality.
So I think the importance is the real thing that's making it work is what we're talking about right now. The real thing that's making it work is you've got Naughty Dog being the workhorse, being the one title to define it.
Yeah,
really, and then you've got Insomniac keeping up everyone's attention while they wait for that next one, and those are both equally important roles. Those are both as studious as one or the other. They're both valuable and important. So Insomniac, man, they're cranking them out. It's crazy. They're making a lot of games, and it's impressive because it's a big deal to make a game for people.
And we probably won't see Wolverine until 2024.
3 or 4, yeah, definitely.
Spider-Man 2022, hopefully, Spider-Man 2.
So Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, is already done. They've got their end team working on it, right? They've got their team that is designed for technical issues, anything else that needs to be revamped and fixed, right? I think that game's done. They've got the rest of their people, their core team of their main people working on Wolverine right now. And I don't think it'll be necessarily 2024. I think 2 years from now. What is it?
23?
21? I think 23 we'll see Wolverine.
So when do you think Spider-Man 2 is coming out?
Oh, next year.
Because I think 2022.
Next year.
You think they'll go Spider-Man 2 and then the very next year Wolverine? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would be. But I think that's what's going to happen, honestly. I think they're working on it, man. And
if anyone can do it, I know they're working on it. Yeah.
I think
early, you're going to see. Yeah, I think you'll see Wolverine in 23 at the end of it.
They said 23 for Spider-Man.
Yeah, they've said 23 for Spider-Man 2.
So Wolverine maybe 24, 25. No, I don't think it's done.
I think the engine might be done, and they have like the outline, but they put so much content.
And that's a PS5 only game. I think it's. I think we're a couple years out.
We'll see.
Yeah,
because that was the first mention of it.
Real quick, I was just thinking about this. What do you want to see out of Spider-Man 2? I
want to see co-op. I want to see multiplayer.
Yeah. Here's one thing. We saw the trailers, right? I think a teaser trailer is supposed to. I think you can glean a lot from a teaser trailer.
Sure.
And I think the teaser trailer we saw had Miles Morales and Peter Parker fighting together. You heard Craven I mean, anybody that knows anything about Spider-Man, people are like, who is that in the voice? It's Kraven the Hunter, all right? I mean, it's not a spoiler. Like,
Yeah.
watch a cartoon, you know? That's Kraven the Hunter. So you heard Kraven. You saw electricity. You saw, I think that's probably Electro, right? Because yellow electricity. You saw Electro. He was in the first game. And then you see Venom at the end. And we see a whole bunch of co-op.
Mm-hmm.
I think bare minimum, we're talking Arkham Knight type, first one player, but you can control two characters type thing.
Okay.
But I think we could see some co-op.
Yeah.
And I think you could see some multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really do. I mean, I know co-op and multiplayer is like the same thing, but I think you could see like expanded multiplayer where one guy's Peter Parker and the other guy's Miles Morales. I think we really could see that where two people are playing in the same space.
Yeah, and they might be doing side missions on
their
their own, right? But then there's like a main something. You know what? You know, because they do the random events, right? Where like something happens, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing those on your own for fun, right? And you're spread around the city, and then one of those happens, but you know it's a big one, and you both got to tackle it together. And then you go, okay, I'm over on this side of the city, bro, but you know, meet me on the outskirts. You go to the east side, I'll go to the west side, and we'll kind of like make a plan. You know, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Imagine, you know, I'm Peter Parker, you're Miles Morales, and we are stealthing our way through a big warehouse.
Yeah.
And you're on that end taking care of people. I'm on this end. I mean, the possibilities are.
So you think it's going to be kind of like the
Gotham
Knights game that's coming out for DC? That it's a very multiplayer.
So I don't think it'll be that, because I think that is definitely like a multiplayer focused game.
Yeah, co-op focused.
And that's a game people are sleeping on. You know,
it's gonna be good. I'm ready.
People are sleeping on it because it got delayed.
Yeah.
When delays happen, people go to sleep. I understand. And it's not made by Rocksteady. When a series is not made by the original, people go to sleep. But it looks good. It looks good. The combat looks kind of, you know, it looks good for what it is. It looks like
a co-op Arkham game, and I'm down for that.
The three of us can play it.
Yeah.
And what's today? The 7th of October. I'm calling Red Hood. I called Dibs. I called you. You heard it.
He's already got it.
You guys all heard it. So it's
I call Nightwing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a Nightwing? I don't think there is a Nightwing. Yeah.
There is a Nightwing. Yeah, he's in there.
I'm gonna take.
So, Red Hood, Nightwing, Robin, which I think is probably Drake.
Hey, Robin looks dope.
There's a lot of Robins.
The Robin that's in there looks dope. Yeah.
And
Batgirl.
Okay.
Those are the 4 characters, I believe. So yeah, I don't think it'll be that. I do think it'll be like a single player game first, but I would not.
Yeah, I think I'll let you pick. You pick Miles or Peter, and you can go through.
When you look at that teaser, man. I think it'll have a single narrative.
I gotta take Miles, man. I gotta take that hoodie, bro. Like in the sneaks, man. I gotta take
Miles.
Well, I think that would really, ratchet it up from the other game. That separate it from because Spider-Man.
Ratchet it up.
Ratchet it up.
Yeah.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Insomniac.
Yeah, but the first game is so good. Like the Spider-Man game and the Miles Morales. I mean,
I haven't played Miles Morales.
Really
don't spoil it. I'm getting there soon.
They're very, very good games. But what else can you do to add to that where it doesn't just feel like another DLC? It's not just another add-on. It's like, well, if you add that co-op element, to me that really injects more into that game and gives you a real reason to get in there and to
and play. That's why I think they're taking so much time. I mean, the quality. This is a full sequel. It's going to be a long game.
Yeah.
But I think that takes time to work through and play test.
Sure.
That's why I think. That's why I think they said 2023. They're like, hey, 2023.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Yeah. I can't wait.
And as an aside, we don't have to go deep into this, but. When we talk about trailers, right? We saw or even teasers. We saw the Wolverine teaser, right? There's something I want to tell you, David, but we'll wait for that. You look at that, just a short little thing, right? But you see people strewn about. It looks violent. That looks like an M-rated game, and I don't think you can make a Wolverine game without making an M-rated, especially a realistic game. I think. People are like, oh, Insomniac, they're just going to be make Marvel games. I don't think that. I think Wolverine is going to be a very, very different game in tone
probably
to Spider-Man.
No, it
And
is. It's going to be
who's
dark.
complaining about that? If they do just make Marvel games, I'm not complaining about that. They make some freaking awesome games. Go ahead.
What I think
make
he's
an
saying
anime,
is,
make a Thor game.
I think there's a difference between making a game based off of a movie and making a game based off of a comic book character.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Henri's trying to say right now. There's so many games that have failed that have just been game movies, and they just there's a movie coming out, we want you to make a game to make us more money that's just like the movie, whatever. Garbage, right? But when you make a game really well done, I don't know how well Guardians of the Galaxy did. I'm not gonna get it because Insomniac didn't make it
yet.
but it's
not out yet.
Okay, it doesn't matter, I probably won't get it. If Insomniac made it though, I'd get it.
I'm pressing X, David.
Are you gonna get it?
I know I'm pressing X to doubt that you're not going to get it.
I'm not planning on getting it. I'm telling you right now.
If it's a 10 out of 10, if it comes out and all the scores are like 10 out of 10, you're still not going to get it.
Why aren't you planning on getting it? I'm curious.
Okay, so it just looks to me like it's, it looks to me like it's a movie game, right? And it's not because the characters are obviously different, the voice actors are different.
It's not based on any of them.
But it just looks like a game that's made for the sake of being a Guardians game. It doesn't look like a game that was made for the passion of making a Guardians game like Insomniac did for Spider-Man. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I could be wrong.
It comes out soon.
That makes
less than
sense.
a month out.
The quality does not look like Insomniac quality to me.
And so if you told me today, hey, Insomniac's making a Guardians of the Galaxy game, I'm buying it. Like, immediately. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the reviews say. I already know the quality of what Insomniac can do. They did to Spider-Man what no other company could do. Now, like you said, 2 was the best. It was great. It was amazing. God, I remember the old days of swinging through. But then when Insomniac did it for the PS4, fuck, bro, it was different.
Incredible.
So if you told me today, after experiencing that, Insomniac's making a Guardians of the Galaxy game, dude, I'm floored. I'm about as excited as I am about Metroid, right? But they're not. They didn't. Somebody else did. Who made it?
They said.
Well, it's Square Enix, but I don't know.
Square Enix. I think it's...
Yeah, well, they fucked up with Avengers, so I'm really not going to buy their game, So
it's Eidos Montreal.
Eidos, yeah.
You know what's so funny? Studios. Another cool thing, there was an article that came out today. Eidos Montreal is moving to a 4-day work week, which is very impressive for a game studio. Yeah, because most game studios have a lot of crunch time.
The Bugsnax people did that like a month ago. Whoever made Bugsnax, I don't know.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay. They seem like people that could afford it, but Eidos Montreal is a company that probably doesn't seem to think that this is a work culture balance that'll work for them, because most game companies, they have crunch times. They go, okay, you only work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, but it doesn't matter. We need this game done, so you're going to stay, right? So Eidos Montreal, they have a very beautiful web page dedicated to their transition to a 4-day work week, and it's really cool if you go take a look at it and read what the
what their last game
questions
was, right?
and answers. Go ahead.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider was their last game. This team, which is a good game.
They've been working on this for
solid.
That is one of their best. That is one of their best studios.
It's a solid game.
I am not. It's not a day one buy. I looked at it. I was not super impressed, but I was also not like, I'm not buying this game. So it's one of those, I'm going to wait to see what people think, and I'm going to see what I'm playing at the time, and maybe I'll buy it.
Did you buy it?
Yep.
No, I'm talking about...
No.
I'm talking about Guardians. I'm going to wait till it comes out.
I'll wait.
I'm going to wait till I see some reviews.
Yeah. I'm waiting on that one.
It is not Wolverine.
I'm not ready to
pre-order Wolverine...
Done. I don't even. I
money right now in his
Insomniac. Look, Insomniac's making Wolverine. I don't even need to see it, bro. That's the beauty of a name, right? When you have quality in a name, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, why are you buying Nikes?" Well, they're fucking good, dude. Like, do I have to explain myself? It's the same thing with Insomniac. It's like, okay, they're telling me they're making a Wolverine game. I don't need to see a fucking thing. No. They're getting my money for a Wolverine game. Period. All right.
Yeah.
So, Eidos Montreal made Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. They made Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm sure it was a great game. Haven't played it. Yeah. And that tells you something, because I play fucking everything.
I have it for free. I haven't played it yet. I like their first games. I like the reboot.
Hey, no.
I like the sequel.
And I'm not saying that they're a bad studio. I'm not saying
the third one. Yeah.
I'm not saying they're a bad studio. I'm not saying I don't love the other games that they. I'm just saying, like, okay, it's not
Do
Insomniacs.
you get a little
right?
bit of? Me and Ken were talking about this earlier. I don't want to go too long, but do you get a little bit of, like with the Avengers, where these aren't quite the characters
Yeah, it feels like a knockoff.
think?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Walmart Guardians a little bit.
That's basically what it was.
True
And
value.
the problem
Guardians.
is it
like,
would have worked.
It's not Chris Pratt. It's not Zoe.
Problem is it
Saldana,
would have
yeah.
worked
Yeah.
if they had content to fulfill it with, right?
Yeah.
Because the characters were fine. No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't Chris Pratt or whomever. It wasn't.
But did that bother you with
Chris,
Avengers?
whatever.
And is that
All
bothering
the
you
Chris's,
with
No,
Guardians?
yeah.
it did not bother me at all. And like I told you before,
Okay.
I don't even want the game to be Chris Pratt. Because then that's a movie game. Then we're going back
Right,
to that
yeah.
shit. I don't
Yeah.
want that shit. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. I want to see it in a new light. I want it to be a character that's more akin to the comic book series, so that now I can experience what. So for a lot of people,
I think that's what they're going for.
for a lot
Yeah.
of people, man, nobody knew Guardians
Right.
when
I hope
that
they
movie
surprise
came
us.
out.
I hope
Nobody
this game comes out. and
look. Nobody
not
had a
just talked
fucking
about.
clue of who the Guardians
Yeah.
were when the movie came out, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody sees that movie, and it's amazing. James Gunn, he did it. He made a fucking amazing
Your
movie.
boy.
My boy. All right, and he's not done. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's making amazing movies. You don't want
He
to watch
is,
all
he
his
is.
movies. All right, so he made an amazing movie, and then now, boom, because of this guy, people are interested in a comic book series that's been dead for a while, that nobody knew about, that everyone was uninterested in because they had no knowledge of it, right? So now we know, right? This is a comic book series I had no clue existed, and I know a lot of comic book series. I know
Same.
a lot of them, right? This
I knew a lot of obscure Marvel
Yeah.
characters when I saw him. I know that guy. I know Vision. I know this.
Guardians
I
of
know
the
that.
Galaxy. Who the fuck's
Guardians?
this? What is this?
No idea. No clue.
I was blown by that movie. I loved it instantly. One of my favorite Marvel franchises of all time because of James Gunn and what he did with the franchise, right? That's beautiful. Now what needs to happen is better care needs to be taken of it. Now that interest has been created through that movie, the people who are making media for it in other forms, games, whatever, need to take care of it and do it a different way and show why it's beautiful differently, but similarly.
Yeah.
So I don't want
I
to see
will say
fucking
this.
Chris Pratt.
I will
Okay.
say this.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of us know if this game is good, right?
Right.
This new Guardians
Nobody
game.
knows.
I will say this: the fact that it is single player is good. No
Mhm.
loot boxes, probably no microtransactions. That's good. And I do know they want it to be good, and they are trying and they are putting effort into it.
I'll
Whether
tell you-
it works or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Okay, so I was joking earlier, but you said Square Enix made it. I'm like, all right, I'm out. But
Square
I'll tell you one great thing about the Avengers game was the
Yeah.
story. They really
Yes.
did an amazing
Yes.
job on the
Yes.
story. And so
I loved it.
probably the best thing that they could do for the Guardians of the Galaxy game is just make it single player, make
All
a great story.
And that's what it
and
is.
nobody's going to complain because what everybody really wanted, and don't fucking lie, what everyone really wanted out of the Avengers game was amazing multiplayer, and they couldn't deliver. What they could
You're right.
deliver was an amazing story, and that was great. I
You're
loved
right.
it, and that was worth it for me. So yeah, you're right. Get rid of the multiplayer, and I
tip
think
my hat to you.
yeah, I think if it's just a single player story and they're trying to pay homage to the Guardians of the Galaxy comic book storyline, I think it'll be great. So I might get it. So
You might, yeah.
and look, I
on the
love
fence on it.
Square Enix.
You owe
Yeah.
me $70.
I've always
for it.
loved Square Enix. But what's the point I'm getting at though is the main point I'm getting at is most games I'll buy day one. And I don't even have to absolutely love the idea of them. If it's a new game and it looks good, I'll buy it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
We
people aren't in
generally
this.
know. We generally know what games we're interested
Right.
in. We don't have to.
This
wait.
is not a game I'm buying day one, and I'm sad.
agree.
I'm sad to say that.
It is not Metroid.
Dread.
Dread.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
no.
Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming out in a very heavy, when games are dropping every week, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of competition.
Yeah,
a lot
they
of
do.
stuff
They
coming
do.
out.
That's a good point, Ken.
Yeah.
They have a lot of
Alright,
competition
alright.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say this. I know we're nearing the end of our journey today,
For
but I have to
today.
say this. Your boy, Colin Moriarty at No Taxation had a tweet
I've seen
that
his
said
tweets.
you've seen the tweet,
I've seen his tweets. What is it? Which one?
that he's hearing that that Blue Point might be taking a trip to Yarnum.
Yarnum, I heard that. Yep.
You heard that? Thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna tweet back to him, but then I decided not to. If they do,
so I think they definitely will.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what. I played, dude. What I was gonna tweet back to No Taxation was, don't tell me that I can't put another 400 hours into that game so soon. That was gonna be what I said to him, and I can't. That game was so new to me. That game is so new to me, and it's probably been like 4 years.
First Soulsborne.
When I did play it, dude, I put 400 hours into that game. And if they do nothing different, if they're just making it look better, yeah, I would love to see that. But
here's what I'm thinking, right? Because when they got acquired by Sony, they had an interview where they said that our next game is going to be an original game.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean a new IP.
Agreed.
Original game does not mean new IP. Sony owns the right to Bloodborne.
Yeah, they
right?
do.
They
More
own
so
that
than
IP.
From Software, which is crazy, but yeah.
They don't own it at all. They just made it.
This was the
like
second. This is the second point I was going to get to. If they're making Bloodborne 2, I can't be more fucking excited. And I think that's the smartest thing that they can honestly do right now. Because like I was saying, I put too much time into the first game, and it was not that long ago that I really think it needs an update. And I know we mentioned this slightly with Dead Space, right? And I was like, I already played it. I don't need it. And then I'm like, okay, I really want to. Okay, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll play it. Yes. But this was really so new, and the type of game that it is doesn't really need that much of an update, to be relevant.
It has to be said, and you might not have even realized this, but when the last time you played Dead Space, right? Dead Space 3. Not the best Dead Space, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You played Bloodborne, and then what? Dark Souls 3, right?
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah.
You went back, I believe, played Dark Souls 2 and 1.
Yep. The remaster, yeah.
Then we played Demon Souls. You've had that scratched. Sekiro.
Right. That's a good point.
The best one.
That's a very valid point. Very valid point.
Even Neo. It's not, but it scratches that itch a little, right?
Right. That's a very valid point on it.
So that might be why you're looking for.
Check it out. Blue Point makes, and this is exactly, I agree with you, and this is what I was thinking. Not the only reason they were acquired, but if they're going to Yarnum, they're making Bloodborne 2. They're not making a remake of Bloodborne 1. They're making Bloodborne 2 right now.
Oh, yeah. They should. They should make a full sequel.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did a remaster, not a remake. Demon Souls was a remake. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a remaster of Bloodborne 2, make it 60 frames like everybody wants, all the 60 frames people. Although, as an aside, I don't know if you did this, David, but one day when we were about to play Demon Souls, I put it on fidelity mode once. And it was like playing a fucking slideshow. Never play that game on 30 frames per second.
No.
After playing on a 60. Normally I'm like, I can't tell the difference. You can tell the difference. Okay. You tell the difference. Yeah, do that. You'll be like, what happened?
I think I'll avoid it.
What year is this?
All right, so you were saying a Bloodborne 2 remake, but what do you mean?
I think they are going to do a Bloodborne 2 remaster, not a remake.
But they haven't made Bloodborne 2 yet.
No,
remaster of Bloodborne.
They're going to make a remaster of Bloodborne and also Bloodborne 2.
Okay.
That's what I think they're going to do.
Same studio.
I think they're going to do both. They're going to remaster Bloodborne and then also make Bloodborne.
Okay, the remaster is basically...
Because the remaster is nothing. They just go in there... touch it up. All right, it's all pretty. Make it 60
Which
frames.
is not easy. I'll tell you that.
No.
Technical.
Relative to making a new game.
So what I'm going to tell you, what Blue Point is doing. So the beautiful thing is, when they're making a remaster, they don't really have to touch code much. Okay, it just depends on if there's animation changes. What they're really dealing with is artwork, and if you're dealing with technical artwork, it can be a fucking ordeal. Trust me, I'm a 3D
the original
artist.
wasn't.
Trust me. But it's not
It's
the
a good
hardest
thing they're the
thing.
masters.
But it's not the hardest thing that needs to be done about a game. So if all you have to do is update the artwork and do things, it's a grind. Sure, it's a grind.
Yeah.
You have to get it done, but it's not like brain bending work that's gonna take forever to. So if all they have to do is update
in a
art,
game, like the fighting systems, the health systems, all that stuff
it was on the
yeah.
PS4. I'm with you, David.
Right.
There's absolutely no reason to remake Bloodborne. It came out in 2016.
Yep.
It's kind of the ridiculous thing they're going to remake The Last of Us Part 1. Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to remake The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2.
Remaster was fine.
A remaster is fine. Yes. So, yeah, I think they remaster Bloodborne, and then they make Bloodborne 2, and I think that comes out.
I think a remake is only relevant when you want to change systems to actually make it a better... To make the story... To make it a better game to enhance the story, right? If you're not doing that...
a couple generations behind.
If you're not doing... No, well, I think that's a remasters category, right? In my opinion, and maybe it's just defined weird, but I think a remaster means updating the art. I think a remake means reworking systems that are in the game to...
the game engine needs to be
severely
updated
there are not hard and fast rules of what this means. Like, there's no technical... But to me, let's say they remastered Demon Souls. It would not look nearly as good as the remake of Demon Souls. You know, it's just like it's a PS3 game that looks good. Maybe the frame rate's better. Maybe they take some, but it's not.
So for the Demon Souls remake, they remade all of the art.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah. They remade all of the art for sure. So that makes sense.
A remaster is like you're upscaling some stuff. But you're
turning up textures from 10, 20, whatever to
putting new skin on those old bones.
Yeah. So
you're polishing it.
Right. But you're right. That's a valid point. That's a valid point. The people at Blue Point, they remade every model. They might have been given the models, and likely they were given the models from the previous game, and they said, hey, make them better. Make them higher quality, make them whatever.
But everything's new. There's no PS3 assets in that game.
Right. Right. So that's a valid point. Yeah.
I think Bloodborne's a PS4 game, 2016.
Being worked on right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think the sequel in development?
Yes. Yes.
My opinion is it's not. They're not making a remake. If they are, they're not. No, they're not.
We know how we feel about rumors, but this particular source, Colin Moriarty, does not. He's not a rumor. He's not a rumor dude. No. He's known in the industry. He knows these people. He was the first person to say straight up, Blue Point is making a Demon Souls.
Yeah. He's been very accurate.
He knows them. He knows
everything that he says.
I mean, he knew that Days Gone was being made way before that was even announced.
He knows more
the studio is
than he
working.
Says.
Yeah.
He knows way more than he says.
Which I think is most people, because I think a lot of people are not allowed to say things. So I think the point is that Colin has a way of saying things the way he needs to. That he's
he has a relationship with them to where he's like, all right,
don't break the NDA, but dance around it.
Yeah. And he hasn't been the only one, but that's a pretty good source. So I think this is true.
Yeah, so shout out to Colin. Check out him on Joe Rogan. Yeah. It was an awesome episode.
Yeah. Oh, do you have a new one? Because he was on a while.
That was an old episode, and it was when Colin was dealing with some shit from internet haters and crappy people of the world.
When all of that stuff happened,
yeah, he's doing all right.
Wild.
No, Colin's awesome. We followed. Henri and I followed Colin for a long time. We love his stuff when he was with Kind of Funny.
Sure.
And when he's not with Kind of
Funny.
Before that,
Beyond.
And before then, when he was with IGN and Beyond,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Colin's just an awesome dude. So everybody, give him some love.
He's a good source. Yeah. Yep. I trust that.
So, lastly, I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, I don't know. Are you getting Back for Blood?
Back for Blood. Well, it's on Game Pass, so I will be playing it. I'm not buying it, but
you're not gonna buy it. You're not gonna play with me.
It's on Game Pass, man. All you gotta do is download it. I got it on my PC. I can preload that sucker.
I think Game Pass is crap. It's
Okay.
garbage.
But
Garbage talk. You get a free game. You get free games.
Who needs that?
You get free games.
in
They're
4
not-
days,
they're not
I can,
literally free, but
download
yeah, I
it
get
to
what
my
you're saying.
computer. Yeah, I can get that
It
thing
comes
downloaded
out in 4 days. All right.
4 days.
So,
I can I can download it. I don't know if I can. Is that when?
so here's what I'm
it's
saying.
available?
If David,
Yeah.
if you get it on PS5, I'll get it on PS5. Ken, same with you. You know, if you want to play with us,
So you're not getting it. You're not going to get it on PS5. You don't have to. Just wondering.
I'm probably not. Probably
Alright.
not getting a PS5.
I'm
you see
getting.
what you're doing, Game Pass?
I'm getting.
Yeah.
You're segregating
families apart.
gamers.
You're
You're
tearing us
destroying
apart.
us.
Yeah.
Just let us buy it on PS5. Why are you being like this?
Did you hear? Say that again, Henri.
Just let us buy it on PS5.